The Star Wars film franchise has been one of the most successful of all time, from the release of the first film, A New Hope, in 1977, up to Disney's currently ongoing revival of the series. Its decades of popularity make it a transgenerational myth with influence over parents and children alike. A closer analysis shows drastic changes in the evolving representation of women and femininity within these films, with a focus on Leia from the original series, Padme Amidala from the prequels, and Rey from the newest trilogy. As theorist Arthur Berger describes, the narrative of Star Wars is simply a modernized fairy tale, or myth. It perfectly exemplifies the hero's journey mythical structure, where the initial hero is Luke. Berger describes how female characters in this structure exist and function to the central male hero. They are stereotyped as love interests, damsels in distress, or mothers, who exist solely to motivate or help the hero achieve his quest. This is significant since Star Wars influences identity formation in its young audience, as it, like other myths, speaks to the psyches of young people and adolescents, the way fairy tales speak to the psyches of children. Young males can identify with Luke Skywalker and young women with Princess Leia. As Carl Silvio and Tony M. Vinci suggest, to speak of popular mythology, then, is to speak of politics, economics, identity formation, and ideology to the extent that our relationships to these categories are thoroughly mediated by popular narratives. In this sense, to analyze a film series like Star Wars as a modern mythological narrative is to explore the ways in which it represents the specific relationships of the contemporary subject to the current social order. The messages normalized about women by the Star Wars movies begin with its first token female character,
then man your ships,
in a clearly male-dominated universe. Princess Leia. She is introduced in Episode 4 as the typical damsel in distress,
"Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi,"
who motivates Luke to begin his central journey.
She's beautiful.
While she shatters this first stereotyping immediately after the audience has fallen for it,
"Too little short for a stormtrooper."
and does have her heroic moments, likely included to reflect the wave of American feminism during the film's release in 1977.
Somebody has to save our skins.
She ultimately exists only in function of Luke. Her initial role of his love interest randomly changes sometime during Episode 5, when she is rewritten as his sister and Han's love interest. Despite Han's constant disrespect towards her,
Just to avoid any more female advice, we ought to be able to get out of here.
and her apparent disinterest,
Let go.
he continues to aggressively pursue Leia
Let go, please.
Don't get excited.
until she gives in. The message being, eventually women need men, even if they at first don't know it, and that male aggression is a valid form of affection. Besides this patriarchal message, Leia also never uses the Force and is never trained, despite the fact that her siblinghood with Luke should make them both potential saviors of the galaxy.
You have a power I don't understand and could never have.
In a universe where the Force is the ultimate power, it may have been progressive for Leia to use a blaster, but she is still demeaned by never being capable of wielding a lightsaber.
A Jedi's weapon, much like your father's.
By Episode 6, Leia is sexually objectified in what is unfortunately her most remembered and iconic scene. This objectification of Leia and further normalization of violence against women seems to diminish the powerful rebel leader introduced in Episode 4, who now seems to need to be passed from man to man in order to get by. As Leia said of her mother, Padme Amidala, introduced as the token female of the prequels,
What do you remember?
She was very beautiful, but sad.
most researchers on the topic agree, some speculating that Padme's weak characterization when the prequels were released from 1999 to 2005 was a backlash against the feminist gains of the 60s through 80s. Like her mother, she's introduced in Episode 1 as a powerful politician,
It's Queen Amidala herself.
just to digress into an underdeveloped stereotype by Episode 3.
I can go early and fix up the baby's room.
Her fall into nothing more than troubled Anakin's love interest begins in Episode 1,
Are you an angel? What?
becomes her central role by Episode 2, and her sole function by Episode 3, where she doesn't even appear until halfway through the film to say,
I'm pregnant.
This pregnancy is completely debilitating to her character,
This baby will change our lives. I doubt the Queen will continue to allow me to serve in the Senate.
and she ceases to have any motivation or purpose outside of Anakin.
All I want is your love.
Her constant elaborate costume changes objectify her as some kind of dehumanized ornament,
There's nothing left on board.
The Queen's wardrobe, maybe.
Then there's this scene. By episode 3, she dies during childbirth because of Anakin's abuse, yet is still buried with the necklace he gave her. Her last words again exemplify how dependent her character has become. Besides this, the only two women in the prequel trilogies, Padme and Anakin's mother, are continuously blamed for Anakin's turn to the dark side throughout all 3 films.
I won't lose you the way I lost my mother. I am becoming more powerful than any Jedi has ever dreamed of, and I'm doing it for you, to protect you.
This Freudian view that motherly love can be dangerous.
Your thoughts dwell on your mother.
What has that got to do with anything?
Everything.
Whereas fatherly love is superior.
I'm your father.
Basically constitutes the plot of the entire franchise.
My son.
Finally, with Disney's acquisition of Star Wars and release of Episode 7 in 2015, a huge shift can be seen in Rey's character. She is strong, capable, independent, never a love interest, mother, or damsel in distress. She wears practical clothes and doesn't rely on a man. Most importantly, she takes the place of the central hero of the myth as Star Wars' first main female protagonist. This climactic scene shows the first significant female lightsaber battle of the entire series. Rey's femininity clearly doesn't stop her from using the Force or wielding lightsabers. Even Leia makes a return and finally uses the Force too. If Rey's development holds up as the series progresses, as it seems to have in Episode 8, which has not just one token female, but several leading female roles,
and follow my orders.
She signals a significant change not just for Star Wars, but in mass American popular culture. This larger battle for dominance between conflicting conservative versus liberal culture is directly reflected in Disney's values. When Disney released its initial merchandising and toys line for The Force Awakens, Rey's character was excluded despite being the main protagonist of the film. Manufacturers were specifically instructed to disclude Rey because, quote, no boy wants to be given a product with a female character on it. The Disney Princess line of clothing for girls, which reflects the corporation's past conservative values about who girls should or can be, is already the most profitable licensed merch property in the world. Disney likely acquired Lucasfilm with the intent to fill the male gap in their market. However, Rey's exclusion resulted in public outcry, with the hashtag #Where'sRey soon trending on Twitter. Due to the pressure of this social media campaign, Disney was forced to add Rey to their merchandising line. This means feminist consumers were able to successfully demand change from a massive media conglomerate through new media technology. This highlights how profits come before civic responsibility in the postmodern age, but how it's possible for pop culture activism with transmedia commodification of characters to spur a real social and industrial revolution. The popular is political. This shift is connected to the demands of a growing progressive and female fandom, plus financial incentive from recent studies which show female-led blockbusters have consistently outperformed their male-led budget equivalents since 2014. Star Wars and its transition from traditional female characters who appease the male gaze to characters like Rey is an indication of how societal values can both shape and reflect media in late capitalism.
I know how to run without holding my hand!
With Rey, a new young Star Wars audience can grow up exposed to a female role model whose gender does not diminish her.
Yeah. Follow me.